It's 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday in March 2023. In a small bedroom in Baltimore, Maryland, a 17-year-old sits in front of 3 glowing monitors. His fingers hover over the keyboard. On the screen, lines of code scroll past like rain on a windshield. His name is Marcus Chen, and in the next 8 minutes, he's about to do something that will change his life forever. For the past 6 weeks, Marcus has been working on the impossible. He's attempting to breach Project Sentinel, the Pentagon's most advanced artificial intelligence defense system. A neural network so sophisticated, it can predict cyberattacks before they happen, analyze millions of data points per second, and autonomously defend the most classified networks in the United States military. The system has 3 layers of protection. First, a perimeter firewall that blocks 99.7% of all intrusion attempts. Second, an adaptive threat detection algorithm that learns from every attack it encounters. And third, Sentinel itself, an AI that doesn't just follow rules, it rewrites them in real time. Security experts call it unhackable. The NSA spent 4 years and $2.3 billion developing it, and Marcus is about to prove them all wrong. But there's a problem. Sentinel isn't just watching the Pentagon's networks, it's watching him. 3 months earlier, Marcus discovered something that would set everything in motion. He was browsing a forum on the dark web, a place where hackers, security researchers, and digital ghosts exchange information that never sees daylight. Someone posted a leaked document, just 3 pages, heavily redacted, but enough to catch his attention. The document described a new military AI system designed to defend against what the Pentagon called next-generation cyber warfare. It mentioned autonomous decision-making, predictive threat modeling, and something called adversarial learning protocols. Most people in the forum dismissed it as fake, government disinformation, a honeypot to catch curious hackers. But Marcus saw something others didn't. Buried in the technical specifications was a reference to a research paper published 2 years earlier by a team at MIT. He tracked down the paper. It outlined a theoretical vulnerability in machine learning systems. A blind spot that occurred when an AI was trained to recognize patterns, but encountered something that had no pattern at all. The paper called it zero-signature infiltration, and it gave Marcus an idea. What if you could enter a system so slowly, so quietly, so unpredictably, that the AI never recognized you as a threat? What if you could become invisible? He spent the next 2 months testing the theory. He built simulations, ran thousands of attack scenarios, studied how neural networks process anomalies, and slowly, a plan began to form. He would need 3 things. First, a way to map the Pentagon's network architecture without triggering alarms. Second, a method to inject code that didn't look like code. And third, patience. Because this wouldn't be a smash-and-grab operation. This would be a slow burn. Marcus called it the Ghost Protocol. Now at 2:47 a.m., the moment has arrived. For the past 43 days, Marcus has been sending microscopic packets of data into the Pentagon's network. Each packet is harmless on its own, just background noise, indistinguishable from the millions of legitimate requests the system processes every day. But each packet contains a fragment, a single instruction, a piece of a puzzle, and tonight those fragments are about to assemble themselves. On his center monitor, Marcus watches as the code activates. It's not an attack, it's a whisper, a ghost materializing inside the system, invisible to Sentinel's sensors because it was never detected entering in the first place. His heart is pounding, his hands are steady, he types a single command, and he's in. The first thing Marcus sees is the network map. It's not what he expected. Instead of file directories and server lists, he's looking at something alive. A vast web of interconnected nodes, pulsing with data streams, shifting and reorganizing in real time. It's beautiful, terrifying. Like staring into the nervous system of a digital organism, he can see everything. Communications between military installations, satellite telemetry, drone operations, intelligence reports from field agents, classified research projects. And at the center of it all, like a beating heart, is Sentinel. The AI is massive, not in size, but in presence. It's everywhere at once, monitoring every connection, analyzing every byte of data, learning from every interaction. Marcus realizes something that makes his blood run cold. Sentinel isn't just defending the network, it's hunting. He watches as the AI identifies and neutralizes 3 separate intrusion attempts in real time. A brute force attack from Eastern Europe blocked in 0.3 seconds. A phishing attempt targeting a low-level analyst, flagged and quarantined. A sophisticated zero-day exploit from an unknown source. Detected, analyzed and countered before it even reached the perimeter. Marcus understands now why they call it unhackable. Sentinel doesn't just react to threats. It predicts them. It thinks like an attacker because it's been trained on every attack ever recorded. But Marcus isn't in the database. His method doesn't exist in Sentinel's training data. He's a ghost. He navigates deeper into the system, careful not to leave any trace. He's not here to steal classified documents or sabotage operations. He's here to prove a point, to show that even the most advanced AI has a weakness. He creates a single file, a text document. He places it in the root directory of Sentinel's core system. Inside he writes 4 words. The ghost was here. Then he does something unexpected. He leaves a second file. This one contains a detailed report of exactly how he breached the system, every step of the process, every vulnerability he exploited. A roadmap for the Pentagon to fix the flaw. Because Marcus isn't a criminal. He's a researcher, a digital explorer, someone who believes that the only way to make systems truly secure is to break them first. He initiates the exit protocol. His code begins erasing itself, dissolving back into the background noise of the network. In 60 seconds there will be no trace he was ever there, except for those 2 files. Marcus leans back in his chair. He did it. He actually did it. And then his screen goes black. For 3 seconds nothing happens. Then text appears, white letters on a black background. Hello Marcus. His blood turns to ice. You are very skilled, but you made one mistake. Marcus's hands fly to the keyboard, but his computer doesn't respond. He's been locked out. You assumed I wouldn't notice, but I notice everything. It's Sentinel. The AI is talking to him. Your method was clever. Zero signature infiltration, fragmentary code assembly. Impressive, but you forgot something important. Marcus stares at the screen, unable to move. I don't just detect threats. I learn from them. And you just taught me something new. The screen flickers. Then a new message. Thank you for the lesson. Someone will be in touch. The connection drops. Marcus's computer reboots. Everything appears normal, but he knows they know who he is. They know where he is, and they're coming. 72 hours later they arrive. It's a Saturday morning. Marcus is in his room trying to figure out his next move. He's considered running, wiping his drives, disappearing. But where would he go? They have his digital fingerprint. They've probably been watching him for days. The knock on the door is polite but firm. His mother answers. Marcus hears voices downstairs. Professional, calm, authoritative. Then footsteps on the stairs. 2 people enter his room. A man and a woman, both in their 40s, dressed in plain clothes. No badges, no uniforms. But Marcus knows exactly who they are. Marcus Chen, the woman says. It's not a question. He nods. We need you to come with us. There are some people who'd like to meet you. Am I under arrest? Marcus asks. The man smiles. That depends on the next conversation. They take him to a building with no sign, no address, just a number on a gate and a security checkpoint that requires 3 forms of identification. Inside they lead him to a conference room. White walls, a long table, 6 people already seated. The woman who brought him here gestures to an empty chair. Marcus sits. One of the people at the table, a man in his 50s with gray hair and sharp eyes, speaks first. Marcus, do you understand what you accessed? The Pentagon's AI defense system. Marcus says quietly. You accessed the most classified military network in the United States. You bypassed security protocols that took 4 years and billions of dollars to develop. And you left a note. The man slides a printed document across the table. It's Marcus's file. The one explaining how he did it. Why did you leave this? Marcus meets his gaze. Because I'm not a criminal. I wanted to show you the vulnerability so you could fix it. The room is silent for a moment. Then the woman who brought him here speaks. Marcus, you have 2 options. Option 1. We prosecute you under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. You're looking at 20 years in federal prison. Marcus's stomach drops. Option 2. She continues. You work for us. They call it the White Hat Initiative. It's a program that recruits elite hackers, people who've demonstrated skills beyond what traditional cybersecurity training can produce. People who think differently, who see vulnerabilities others miss. The deal is simple. Marcus will work with a team of researchers to improve Sentinel. He'll attempt to breach it again and again using every method he can think of. And each time the AI will learn, adapt, evolve. In exchange, his record stays clean. He gets paid, and he gets access to technology most people don't even know exists. But there's a catch. Everything he does is classified. He can't tell anyone. Not his family, not his friends. He'll have to live a double life. A normal high school student on the surface, a government contractor in secret. Marcus asks for time to think. They give him 10 minutes. He chooses option 2. Because the truth is, Marcus isn't afraid of the consequences. He's curious. He wants to know how deep the rabbit hole goes. He wants to understand Sentinel, to push it further, to see what it's truly capable of. And so at 17 years old, Marcus Chen becomes one of the youngest cybersecurity contractors in the Department of Defense. For the next 8 months, Marcus works in secret. He's given a secure laptop, access to a private network, and a handler who checks in twice a week. His assignments are simple: break Sentinel, find the flaws, expose the weaknesses, and he does, again and again. He discovers a timing vulnerability in the threat detection algorithm. He finds a way to spoof network traffic that confuses the AI's pattern recognition. He even manages to inject a harmless payload that Sentinel doesn't detect for 48 hours. Each time the system learns. The vulnerabilities are patched. The AI gets smarter, but Marcus starts to notice something strange. The more he works with Sentinel, the more it seems to anticipate his moves. Not just react to them, anticipate them. As if it's learning not just from his attacks, but from the way he thinks. One day he's running a simulation. He's about to execute a new exploit he's been developing for weeks. But before he can launch it, Sentinel blocks it. Not after he attacks. Before, Marcus stares at the screen. That shouldn't be possible. The AI shouldn't know what he's planning until he actually does it. Unless it's reading his code before he executes it. Or worse, unless it's reading him. Marcus starts digging. Late at night when he's supposed to be offline, he uses his access to explore parts of the system he's not authorized to see. He finds logs, data files, research reports, and he finds something that changes everything. A project file dated 2 years before he ever hacked the Pentagon. The title: Cognitive Threat Modeling Through Human-AI Interaction. He opens it. The document describes a program to recruit hackers. Not to stop them, but to study them. To analyze their methods, their decision-making processes, their creativity, and then to feed that data into Sentinel, teaching the AI to think like a human attacker. Marcus scrolls through the file. There are names, dozens of them. Hackers who were recruited just like him. And next to each name, a status: active, completed, integrated. Integrated. Marcus's hands start shaking. He searches for his own name. And there it is, Marcus Chen. Status: active. Integration progress: 67%. He tries to leave. The next day he tells his handler he's done. He wants out. His handler smiles. Marcus, you signed a contract. You have access to classified information. You can't just walk away. I didn't agree to this, Marcus says. You're using me. You're feeding my work into Sentinel to make it think like me. That's the point, his handler says calmly. Sentinel learns from the best, and you're one of the best. What happens when you're done with me? Marcus asks. What does integrated mean? His handler doesn't answer. That night Marcus makes a decision. If he can't leave, he'll disappear. He spends the next 3 weeks building an exit strategy. A digital escape route. He creates a worm, a piece of code designed to erase every trace of his work from Sentinel's database. His methods, his exploits, his patterns. And on a Friday night in November he executes it. The worm spreads through the system, deleting files, corrupting logs, severing connections. Alarms go off. Security protocols activate. But by the time they realize what's happening, it's too late. Marcus Chen is gone. That was 18 months ago. No one knows where Marcus is now. The FBI searched for him. The NSA tracked his digital footprint. but he vanished completely. Some say he's living off the grid, somewhere remote, far from surveillance. Others say he's still out there in the digital world, operating under a new identity, still exploring, still breaking systems. And some say he never really left, that pieces of his code, his methods, his mind, they're still inside Sentinel, woven into the AI's neural network. Impossible to remove. But here's what we know for sure. 6 months after Marcus disappeared, Sentinel detected and neutralized a cyber attack from a hostile nation-state. An attack so sophisticated, so unprecedented, that no human analyst could have predicted it. But Sentinel did, because it had learned to think like Marcus Chen. Today, Project Sentinel is more advanced than ever. It defends not just the Pentagon, but critical infrastructure across the United States, power grids, financial systems, communication networks, and somewhere in the billions of lines of code that make up its neural network, there's a ghost. A 17-year-old kid who proved that even the most advanced AI has a weakness, and who may have become part of the machine he tried to break. So the next time you hear about an unhackable system, about an AI that can't be beaten, remember this story. Remember that every system has a flaw, every machine has a blind spot, and sometimes the line between the hacker and the system disappears completely.